This story begins in 2015 when my wife, Maria, and I were 40 and 42 years old. Up until that point we had been happily married for 18 years and had been blessed with 2 wonderful sons. We were both very much in love, or so I thought. Our body relation life wasn't great, but we had other ways of showing affection, and our marriage had never struggled. I am self-employed as a plumber, and have been doing this since about 2010. Maria was a pharmacist at the time, and we were both successful in our careers and earning decent wages. One night, while my sons were in bed, Maria and I were downstairs and decided to watch a movie together on Netflix. We watched this movie about how a poor girl who has lived in poverty all her life joins an escort agency. This girl says in the movie that she earned about $1,000 for each customer. When the girl said this, Maria replied, "I spend hours here every day at the pharmacy and earn as much as her monthly income." Yes. Afterwards, I enjoyed the movie and went to bed after it was over. From that night until about a month later, our lives were completely normal. It was a normal work day, and after finishing work and picking up the kids, both 7 years old, from school, I got home around 3 p.m. Then around 5 p.m., I received a text message from Maria. After work, I had some drinks with her friends and decided that was a good idea, so I fed the kids and put them to bed. I was watching soccer on TV and didn't even notice that my wife got home around 8 p.m. I assumed she was just playing with her friends, so she didn't ask any questions other than ask how it was. However, right after that, she got up and took a shower, which was strange since she has always been a morning shower fan ever since we met. I didn't think anything of it, and then we both went to bed as usual. Fast forward to the weekend. Maria said she was going to go shopping downtown since she hadn't been downtown in years. I offered to give her a ride, but she politely said she'd drive, so she left, and I stayed home to do some housework. Maria had been out for 4 hours and I hadn't heard from her, so I called to ask when she was coming back, but she didn't answer. So I texted her and asked when she was coming back. She didn't read it, so I waited about 30 minutes and called again, but she didn't answer. At this point I was starting to get a little worried. I kept calling over and over for about 45 minutes and got fed up, and she didn't answer. Then after a total of 7 hours of travel, she finally called me and said she was really sorry that she couldn't answer. She claimed that her phone had run out of power and she needed to sit somewhere to charge it. I believed her and forgave her, and when she got home we hugged and said, "I love you," like we always do, and then Maria went into the shower. She had no idea at that point. I didn't know anything about her for 3 months, and then life went on. There were a few times during that 3-month period where she met her friends, but I left her alone. Then, several times she said things like, working late, and being at the pharmacy until she closed, and I believed her. She also started working a lot. Sometimes she did it, more often on Sundays, but during this time she continued to do it much more often than usual. Then one Friday, Maria came home from her pharmacy, and she said she was invited to spend the night with her friend. I found this a little strange since this friend she was staying with was seeing Maria most of the time anyway. So I wondered why Maria suddenly wanted to stay at her house. So I just agreed with her and offered to tell her girlfriend to drop her off, but she said she would just drive. That night after she left, it was just me and the boys, and they were just playing alone, and I was getting a little bored. We then decided that since we were both very good friends, we could ask Maria's girlfriend's husband, Dean, if he wanted to come over for a beer. Then I called Dean and asked, "Would you like to come over to my house and have a drink while the ladies gossip at your house?" He simply answered, "What do you mean? My wife is only home with me." At that moment, my heart sank. Then I asked him if it was just a joke, and he was really serious. I heard his wife was saying in the background, "We're the only ones who are hot." Then I hung up, stood up and thought for a moment. I decided to call Maria, but she didn't answer. I called 3 more times after that, but they didn't pick up. I also texted her about 10 times and asked if she was okay, but she never responded. Then I put the kids to bed and was thinking about calling the police, but she got a call from Maria saying, "I'm so sorry to have made you worry." She said on her phone that she thought she was meeting her because another friend accidentally said her name wrong, and that when she went to dinner she also said on her phone it didn't come out. Then I was really relieved, but she told me to please leave her phone turned on. After saying goodnight to her, I myself went to sleep and kept thinking, at least she's okay. However, there was one thing that bothered me. Why does she take so long for dinner? Then I stopped thinking and fell asleep. Then Maria came home around 1 p.m. the next day and she acted completely normal. I asked her how she was and she said she was just relaxing and chatting with her friends and eating something. Then we spent the week as usual. But one day when we came home, the postman came to deliver a package addressed to Maria. She ordered almost nothing, so I waited until she got home and delivered it. "Oh, that's my new cell phone." When she said that, my jaw dropped and I replied, "But you already have the new cell phone I gave you a few months ago?" Then she said, I was a little depressed and confused as to why she bought her new cell phone, her iPhone 6 Plus at the time, but she let it go. 2 days later she came home from her job with brand new curlers and a hair dryer, what she bought after her work. And they were also very expensive brands. When you ask, why does she spend so much money on something she already has? Her answer is, oh, I never buy anything new, so I didn't like her. But I also let it go. I was curious, but then I remembered that her birthday was in 6 weeks and I might be able to get her a present. About a week later, we were sitting at the dinner table with the boys, chatting as usual over dinner, when I noticed Maria wearing a new, sparkly, and beautiful Pandora bracelet. The bracelet had some fancy gems on it. I asked her when she bought it, and she said, "Oh yeah, I forgot she said that. I bought her a new bracelet. Do you like it?" "That's fine, but why are you suddenly spending so much money? Your birthday is in a little over a month." When I asked her, she said in a slightly irritated voice, "I really wanted it, and I don't need a gift from you on my birthday. I just want to spend time with you." Then we argued in front of the family. I didn't want to eat, so I ate in silence. The kids. But then there was a turning point, and a strange feeling arose in my head. Before I went to bed that night, I said to Maria, "I'm so happy that you're buying and enjoying these beautiful things, but please be careful how you spend your money," she said. "I'll be more careful from now on." After that, we kissed and went to sleep. That feeling in my head had calmed down now, but the question still remained, where is she getting this extra money? 3 more weeks have passed, actually her second and her third, and one Saturday evening, Maria is talking to her boss, who is a woman, and another coworker, who was also a woman, and I said we were going out for a drink at a bar. I'm going to spend the next few hours at her house with the kids. This is where things get really interesting. Around 9 p.m., I received a call from one of my friend's girlfriends, who I hadn't heard from in a few weeks. I was wondering why she was calling. Picks up the phone, and she was at the bar and seen my wife sitting with a man about my age, and she's wearing a very revealing dress, and she told me that she has been seeing Maria and the man kiss several times. When she said that, my heart sank and I was silent for about 10 seconds. I said, "Excuse me?" And she said, "Hey, I'm serious. I just came back from the bathroom and saw them two sitting at the table together." I didn't say anything. She thought it was just a hoax, so I asked her to send me a photo. But at the same time I thought, how can I know if she's really going with her work colleague? When that girl sent me a picture of both sitting at the table, then I zoomed in. I was shocked and my heart sank. This woman was definitely Maria. She was sitting with another man, wearing a low-cut dress that almost exposed both of her breasts. I didn't know she wore a dress like that, but I didn't think about that, and just started shaking and crying. I asked my friend to give me the address of the pub they were in, so I ran to the car, left the boys at home, and drove the half hour or so to the pub. I parked and my buddy was waiting for me outside. We both went right in and were shown Maria. Then I looked where she was pointing and completely froze. My wife of 18 years was sitting there laughing with a man I didn't know. All I could think at that point was, "Oh my God, she's cheating on me." She had beautiful makeup, never looked like that to me, new Pandora, red heels, and a dress that certainly gave the world a stunning view of her very large breasts. Maria was the best-dressed person in the entire bar. I stood there staring at her. Then I walked up to her and rubbed her shoulder, and Maria turned and looked at me. Her face changed from a happy smile. Horror. I said, "Maria, what the hell are you doing here?" She stood up, put her hand on my arm, and said, "Honey, it's just a business meeting. Don't raise your voice." After she said that, I said, "Are you going to wear a dress like that? I can't believe you're coming with me." So I grabbed her bag and followed her out of the bar, muttering something unintelligible. Meanwhile, the man that was with her was completely silent. We were both sitting in the car and Maria immediately started crying and she was sobbing. I tell her in a calm voice, "So tell me, Maria, who was this man? So how long has this been going on between you two?" She replies, still sobbing, "No, we're not dating, we don't date. That was our first meeting." I say, "So who is he? Did you? Why are you wearing such an erotic dress?" Maria then told me that she had been working for a high-class escort company for the past few months, and that she had also quit her job as a pharmacist at that time. All the time she got home late to meet her friends, she was actually spending with her customers. All the time of her day that she thought she was spending at her pharmacy, she was actually spending with customers. She claimed that she made so much money in her first week that she quit her day job and worked as an escort full-time. She didn't want to tell me, because she knew I wouldn't allow it. It explains why she suddenly bought all these relatively expensive things. She said she got the idea a few months ago when she saw a movie about escort girls. Although it was a fictional character, she said she was jealous and thought she could earn more. I couldn't believe what she had been up to because of some stupid movie. Then I asked her a big question. Have you ever slept with any of these clients? She said yes, and I wasn't surprised. Then she went on to say that she wants me to forgive her, that she loves me, and this problem can be resolved. She then stopped working for her agency and stopped having body relations with all of her clients. But I had enough, so I drove my wife Maria straight to her parents' house and left her there. When I got home myself, I sat silently in a corner and processed the situation. Everyone wondered how such a happy and perfect marriage changed so drastically in just a few months because of a stupid movie. Then there were more talks, things were sorted out, and eventually Maria and I divorced. Since then, I have been taking care of the children and Maria has moved in with her parents, and the boys come over every weekend to spend the weekend with Maria. Since then, I have been living a happy single life,